Tervehdys! Tässä on riistatalouspäällikkö Jarkko Nurmi Suomen riistakeskuksesta. Me ollaan täällä Orimattilan Luhtikulän kosteikon rannalla, joka on tehty yhteistyössä maanomistajien kanssa Suomen riistakeskuksen Sotka-kosteikot-hankkeessa, jota maa- ja metsätalousministeriö rahoittaa. Ja meitä on täällä aikamoinen porukka tällä hetkellä, eli tällainen organisaatio kuin Waterfowlers Network on kokoontunut Suomeen katsomaan meidän kosteikkotyötä. Ja tässä verkostossa, organisaatiossa on ihmisiä eurooppalaisista metsästäjäjärjestöistä, ja Suomi kun on vesilintujen tuottajamaa, niin heillä on erityinen kiinnostus näihin meidän elinympäristöhankkeisiin. Ja mulla on tässä vieressä Claus Lind Christensen, joka on Tanskan metsästäjäliiton puheenjohtaja ja myös tämän Waterfowlers Networkin puheenjohtaja. Esitetään muutama kysymys Klausille, että miltäpä nämä orimattilaiset maisemat ja riistakeskuksen hankkeet näyttävät. Hello Klaus, I'm very glad that you are here in Finland.
Me too.
We know each other for a long time, and I was thinking that maybe you could tell us something about this Waterfowlers Network organization, because the waterfowl do migrate, and it's maybe good idea to try to manage the populations also on a flyway level. That includes also the wintering areas and this work we have been doing with the habitats in Finland. But tell us firstly something about the Waterfowlers Network.
Yes.
Which you are leading.
Yeah. Waterfowlers Network was an idea growing over time by us in Denmark, and also with good talks with people around Europe, especially here in northern Europe. And as you said, waterfowl don't know borders.
Yeah.
Borders is something for human, and therefore we want to work with the waterfowls cross-border together, and therefore we created the Waterfowlers Network, and it's, as the name is, it's a network, because we have the organization in each country, but we have to cooperate more together, and we have a vision. That's where we work for the birds and we work for the hunters equally. And here it's very important to say we work with habitats, we work with data, and we work with how we hunt and we do as hunters. That's the free how we manage the birds. That's the three key points when we work in the Waterfowlers Network.
So you want to have also the research side involved. Yes. And have that kind of a knowledge-based management for the
yes. Without knowledge we take bad decisions, and that's very important that we work science-based. Yeah. But habitat, science-based, and management, and that of course includes the hunters.
And that equals sustainable hunting, which is our main target.
Yes, of course.
Great. And now we have been visiting this site, and we have been also telling you about our Helmi predator removal project, and this is the Sotka wetlands project run by Finnish Wildlife Agency. What are your opinions? Are you happy with the work we have been demonstrating here?
I'll say in that way.
Seeing the birds also.
Yeah, but I'll say in that way, I'm very happy, but most important, it's a necessary work. Without that work, it'll affect the whole flyway. Because a good example, when I talk to the Danish hunter and say to him, now listen, we shoot a lot of widgeon in Denmark, yep. But it's not breeding in Denmark.
It's breeding here.
It's breeding here. Yep. And that's also the reason when we talk about habitat, I encourage the Danish hunters to pay a small amount of money. We can send for these projects. We cannot solve all the projects in Finland, but we can contribute for the project. And if we take an example as the raccoon dog, that's also very important in Denmark, because we also have, unfortunately, the raccoon dog in Denmark. So that's the aliens predator. We definitely have to fight them all over Europe, but especially
here on the breeding grounds.
Grounds, because the effect is so so high when we're talking about the breeding grounds. But also, now I mentioned we don't have the widgeon breeding in Denmark, but I've got the mallard is breeding there, the curt, and so on. So therefore, of course, also managing the alien predators in all countries is very important.
Yeah. And the Finnish Wildlife Agency is very happy that this organization that is presented here by Claus has also been financially backing up this restoration work we do in the Finnish Wildlife Agency. So we are very thankful of that. And could you mention something that we hunters could do to guarantee some recommendation or guidelines for sustainable hunting, what we hunters could do in order to guarantee that our hunting is sustainable?
Yeah, we have had that discussion in the Waterfowlers Network for some time now. And actually, at the meeting yesterday, we started up this discussion for real. And because if you look at Denmark, if you look at Finland, if you look at UK, Germany, all countries have some recommendation. We try now to learn from each other and have the discussion, how should we actually behave as hunter? That's one thing. Discussing the ethic. We're not finished with that discussion, because when you start such a discussion, there are also difficult discussions.
Yeah.
Because we have, and as I normally say, if we don't take the discussion ourselves, we have to take it by ourselves and have the courage to do that. And we do that now. And yes, there's something where the single organization say, I cannot say yes to that. I go back to my organization, back in my homeland, and take the discussion. And that's important, because then we're gathering to have the right behavior, the right ethic, and again, we end up at the end solution with the sustainable hunting. And that's very important. But we should have the courage to take that discussion with ourselves.
Yeah.
And we do that.
Yeah. The ethics code is very important for hunters nowadays, because we want to be we want to perform that kind of hunting that also the rest of the society is willing to accept. And here in Finland, for example, we have been able to get governmental money for restoration and for wetlands, and we don't want to betray that trust. For example, shooting too much. Exactly. So we have to be sure of the sustainability, yeah, in order to be able to build up these fine wetlands also in the future.
Yeah, and a good example is if you look at Basque in UK, yeah, they work with a principle called self-regulation.
Yeah.
And now we're looking into what have you done, what have you learned. They especially have some advice for the pintail. Perhaps we're not ready to take that advice yet, but they have made some advice how many pintails they shoot a day. Okay, we listen, we learn, and
implement maybe in our countries.
And discuss that, yeah, and say, could that do that at the end for good sustainable hunting and especially for the birds.
Yeah. Siinä oli tällainen katsaus täältä kosteikon laidalta. Kiitos Claus. Ja me jatketaan tuonne kosteikon reunalle. Sitähän jatkuu vielä tuonne monta sataa metriä, eli tämä on aika iso kosteikko täällä Luhtikylässä Orimattilassa, jonka Riistakeskuksen Sotka-kosteikot-hanke on luonut. Mennään katsomaan, mitä lintuja tuolta vielä löytyy. Tuolla on aikamoinen lajivalikoima jo tähän mennessä tallentunut kiikaroihin ja kameran kuviin.